As we say goodbye to 2024 and say hello to 2025, it's worth reflecting. Has my life improved? What things have I done to improve it or distract from it? What do I need to change? Since this is a sailing channel, an even more important question might be, have I achieved my sailing dreams, or have I come closer to those dreams? Hi, I'm Sailor Eric, and if you are interested in sailing topics, seamanship, or boat maintenance, you've come to the right channel. It is human to face a life full of challenges, ups and downs. We all face the same questions of how to make the most out of our short stints of human consciousness. Our time is limited, and it is up to us to make the most of it. That said, to obtain or live our dreams, we must define our dreams. And I realize that since starting this channel, I have not really shared my sailing dreams with you. I think it's time. Because I think we all learn the most from each other when we are willing to share those things that we care most about. I found it to be true that to learn and achieve more requires greater tolerance of vulnerability and discomfort. So I'm going to share with you today how I became aware that sailing was part of my spirit, what dreams or aspirations I have for sailing, and provide 8 secrets that I have uncovered over my lifetime, which have worked to move my life toward those aspirations and dreams. So let's start with how I became aware that sailing is part of my spirit, because perhaps it is part of yours too. It was in 2018 when I decided that it was sailing that awakened a passion for life inside me. In my early 40s, I had spent 3 years learning the basics of sailing and participating in different programs or as crew, and then spent another 6 years partnering with different timeshare programs in Chicago, captaining more modern-day sailing sloops or catamarans. I've had an active life up until then, with 10 years serving in the U.S. military as a U.S. Marine, Semper Fi, and life hobbies including running, skiing, hiking, scuba diving, traveling, and reading. I had lived 1 month or more in 6 different countries and visited over 20 countries up to that point. Life experience has always been a high priority for me. Leading up to 2018, I had an increasing realization that Chicago winters brought with them feelings within me of life dissatisfaction. It was an increased foreboding that I was living life on a hamster wheel, with nothing really to show for it while the hourglass of life continues to pour out of a capsule. A book awakened a consciousness inside me that sailing can provide more life meaning for me. With increased awareness of what was contributing to my happiness and would provide for an inspiring future, I made a serious commitment to purchase a proven and well-built, older 42-foot ocean cruising sailboat out of Jacksonville, Florida. The dream is to be an offshore sailor. I want access to a sailing vessel capable of transporting me from state to state and country to country. I want to sail single-handed or with a small contingent across hundreds to thousands of miles. I will want at least one full, nonstop ocean crossing in my life. And I suspect that such an experience might result in further thirst for more such adventures. Perhaps a circumnavigation. So what secrets have I uncovered to bring this dream closer to reality and within reach? Think incrementally. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It is rare for someone to just make a decision to change and then see that change actuated based upon that one decision alone. Most often we are required to make small decisions on a daily basis, which support that one thing that inspires us. Our lives are like large ships making their way through an ocean. They don't just turn on a dime, but must be methodically steered onto a new course, which takes attention and effort. Whether it be sailing or career, I found that making incremental changes which drive toward the direction I wish to go will steadily accumulate to the point of making the destination undeniable. I've gone from taking sailing lessons on dinghies in my early 40s to sailing 300 miles nonstop as master of a Lake Michigan sailboat and 1,400 miles nonstop as crew aboard a brig on the Atlantic Ocean. My sailing skills and resume continue to build. Be a student. Offshore sailing carries with it inherent dangers to your safety. Educating yourself on what the types of dangers are and how they can manifest is of the utmost necessity. In our age of information, you have so many resources compared to what existed 30 years ago. Books, classroom, YouTube videos, online courses, seminars, sailing programs are all available to us today. I've read over 50 books on the subject of sailing, to include books about weather, electronics, boat maintenance, celestial navigation, provisioning, survival in a life raft, sailboat design, and seamanship. I've watched many hundreds of YouTube videos and consider Drake Paragon's journey from North Carolina to Europe via Greenland as an exceptional series. I've achieved multiple ASA and Nautic Ed certifications. Of course, the mother of most learning is experience. Over the course of the past 15 years, I've sailed as ship's master on 40-foot sloops, ketches, and catamarans, while crewing not only on similar vessels, but also on schooners and square-rig brigs. Every year, I look to stretch those experiences toward the next step. Do the work yourself. If something fails on a sailboat underway, your understanding of the system has a direct impact on how long it will take to fix. The best way to understand your boat systems is to work on them yourself. I spend approximately 100 hours per winter working on my sailboat, and through this work, I feel relatively competent on solving most problems I will encounter, whether it be with plumbing, electronics, the rig, the engine, and the fiberglass. You might notice, as my library of YouTube videos increases, that I'm gaining increasing confidence on ship systems and configurations. Find inspiration and knowledge from those who have already done it. It is time-tested that finding inspirational mentors can propel a person's dreams forward. Finding those who are inspiring and can provide the necessary knowledge is a worthwhile effort. Too often we find ourselves surrounded by naysayers or mediocre thinking, which doesn't help our cause. The information we allow into our ears and into our brains impacts how we think about things. So finding resources that bring us toward the direction we seek is important. It is also true that a supportive community can have a super big impact on how long it takes you to move to your next level. My family, unfortunately, does not share my enthusiasm for sailing, and I've had to find sailing friends along my journey. I use YouTube, Facebook groups, and connections from local yacht clubs to engage with inspiring and knowledgeable sailors. If you are looking to connect in order to share sailing knowledge or have questions, please reach out in the comments below. I'd look forward to hearing from you. Ask yourself good questions. Thinking is all about the questions we ask ourselves and respond to in our brains. Understanding and harnessing this by paying particular attention to the questions we are entertaining in our own thoughts is incredibly important to how our lives unfold. A quick example of a less helpful question might be, why are the resources I expect not available to me? While a better question might turn out to be, what resources around this topic are available to me? Lack of patience and emotions can impair this ability. This often involves breaking down big questions into small questions, which lead into the direction we intend. Taking a question like, why is water not coming out of the sink, and transform it to, is the pump coming on when I turn the faucet on? Or what components contribute to the water flowing? Questions leading us away or taking too much time to answer need to be reconsidered. Bad questions can result in much time wasted, while good questions can result in efficiently achieving an answer. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. calibrating and being self-aware about what line of questions turned out to lead toward success, while what line of questions resulted in excessive time sinks, must be conducted so that you learn to improve your own mind's efficiency. Often we don't ask ourselves relevant questions because we don't believe we are capable of answering these questions. What comes with this skill is a higher level of believing in our own ability to comprehend how things work and what is happening. This skill helps me immensely with the previously mentioned skill of doing the work yourself. In my workplace, I'm considered particularly good at troubleshooting technical problems due to a commitment to this concept. Be persistent. Commitment, discipline, follow through, no matter what you call it, has a direct impact on your ability to achieve what you hope. It's one thing to wish for something, but another to do the things that you need to make it happen. Often the results we wish for do not come true in the time we hope to achieve them, and this is where patience must come in. Like Thomas Edison, we will have to absorb failures in any worthwhile endeavor. But if we learn from these trials and use them as new foundations for the next steps forward, they turn into stairs leading to that destination. I had hoped to cross the Atlantic on silver heels within 3 years of purchasing her. This has not happened. I don't think Silver Heels is ready for what would have to be endured for such a passage, and I have learned it is not uncommon for sailors planning a passage like this to devote themselves full-time for many months and sometimes years in order to bring an ocean passage to culmination. I have not been able to devote the required time to this endeavor due to competing life goals. But that just means I need to keep moving toward that goal for an ocean passage until the opportunity manifests. And that might mean an early retirement. Manage your financial life. We all hear stories of poverty amongst the elderly and those in their 70s finding themselves unable to retire. To be a sailor, we find ourselves placing high value on life experience and adventure over working in offices or stores. But how can we afford to retire or achieve our dreams without working? Is the trade-off between sailing full-time worth sacrificing the contributions to our own financial security? We all have our own ideas and expectations around what a comfortable retirement would look like, but I think none of us relish the idea of being bedridden with dementia in a Medicaid facility or to be financially and emotionally draining on our remaining family members. We all have to make financial decisions for ourselves. One advantage that serious sailors have is that they learn how to live minimally. The stuff that we take for granted as necessities in normal life is not needed or present on a life aboard a sailboat. This can easily result in learning to spend less on a monthly basis and consider it normal. The factor I think about the most is the results of surveys and interviews with those who have decided to sail full-time. The majority of those respondents suggest that their only regret is not starting sooner. Though those interviews tend to occur before those interviewees face the prospect of assisted living. I've chosen a path of prioritizing my financial security in later life. Though I'm extremely antsy as I close in on my financial goals and hope my health and capabilities allow me to carry out my sailing dreams as I reach into my late 50s. Be true to yourself. If your life experience is anything like mine, then you will have felt the weight of family, friend, coworker, and community expectations. The world expects us to be normal and conventional, yet we are all born with different talents, spirits, and experiences. What resonates with you may not be normal or conventional. I'm not suggesting you should engage in antisocial or negative behavior, yet I am suggesting you be emotionally intelligent and attempt to understand those things that attract and repel you. We thankfully live in a society that is placing greater and greater weight on mental health, and I think there is merit to that. Pay attention to what makes you happy. If the sacrifices you are making to attain a goal are draining your spirits at too high a level, consider slowing down your pace. My main suggestion is to look for opportunities to have fun every day. I'm lucky that my late father embodied this philosophy and always looked for creative ways to have fun while working. My sister and I both appreciate creating positive experiences for people around us while engaging to get the best performance possible from them to benefit combined efforts. Keeping fun continually in mind helps with this effort. So let's quickly recap. Think incrementally. Be a student. Find mentors and support. Do the work yourself. Ask yourself good questions. Be persistent. Manage your financial life and be true to yourself. The books about our lives are not yet finished. No matter where you might find yourself, your journey is not yet complete. So don't be discouraged by failures or goals that have not yet been attained. If you are making lofty goals, they will be harder to reach, and that makes them all the more worthy. If you're interested in what the Chicago sailing season looked like for me last season, check out the video link showing now. Stay thirsty, my friends, and thanks for watching.